Okay, we are back with another episode of Checks Over Strikes podcast, where we talk about current events that tie back into financial literacy. So this is what our
Third.
third episode. We plan to do an episode every week. So keep it going. We want to
No, fourth.
yeah, that's okay. Yeah, fourth episode,
episode.
man. Don't listen to Dean. We want to keep this going on a week to week basis. So please put your
the
comments.
subscribe button.
Yeah, hit the subscribe button. Put your comments below on what you want to discuss, so we can bring it up into our conversation.
Share it with a friend.
Exactly.
It's the only way we're gonna grow, right? That kind of leads into one topic that I want to talk about. It's community building, and that is something that I'm hearing quite often in the Canadian culture.
Yep.
We're not supporting each other, or Canadians, we're not coming together. There's not enough events. I think there are a lot of events, but a lot of people are just not picking up themselves and going. Like there's real estate events, there's networking events, just to mix and mingle with other businesses. There's stock market, there's crypto events. But it's like when somebody's putting this on, a handful of people are knowing about it, while everybody else is like in the dark. They're like, well, I didn't know about this, or they heard about it, but they didn't go. So it's like, if you heard about it, why didn't you go, right? And a lot of us, a lot of individuals are like, oh, we don't have enough of this and not enough of that. It takes a lot to plan an event, that's one. Junior Jones started doing an event, Investors 100 or something like that. He does that downtown. And but it's a very small group of people that are coming out to these things. What I think needs to happen is the people that are putting on these events, why not come together and do one big event, so that now we can say, hey, there's a bunch of different people, we're all like-minded, you know? There's a bigger network of us where now we can all mix and mingle with each other, because if there's 20 here, and 10 over there, it's like, why not just bring it all together so that now we can start growing as a country? I was speaking to somebody today, and it goes back to what we were saying before we wrote the book. All the information out there, it's geared towards Americans. There's not enough for Canadians. Like, yeah, you just got like the basic information. Somebody's just posting something about interest rates, whatnot. But there's nobody out there like saying, hey, let's teach the masses, or hey, let's come together and teach more people about this. It's the little pockets of things. And I think it's not just on us, but us as a community. Like, hey, if you're gonna go to an event, invite 2 of your friends. Why not make it a bigger event, right? Like, don't watch, going back to last week's episode, if you didn't watch that, you can watch the last week's episode. We were talking about pocket watching. It's like, who cares how much the person's making off the event? Why not be glad that there's actually an event that you can go to and meet other people? I've had a friend, he was trying to do the whole thing of doing group economics with his friends, and it tanked. But now imagine he went to a networking event and found like-minded people, and he was able to execute that. It's like, no, I'm never doing this again type thing. Yeah, we all have those horror stories. But if we can come into a room where other people are thinking like us, you're bound to meet somebody, and who knows where that goes from there.
So let me ask you a question. Why do you think the first thing that people think about is when an event is being put on, how much the individual is making? I think that is at the top of people's minds, and I'm not quite sure. I don't understand why that is.
I don't know. That's where we're gonna have to ask them. You know what? We listen and we don't judge. So you guys let us know why you are not attending these events, or why you are watching. Well, most people won't even be honest about it, why they're watching somebody else's pockets. But from my experience, well, I don't really have from my experience. My thing is, if I see something that interests me, I'm gonna go. Because who knows who I'm gonna meet at that event.
Exactly.
A lot of people say your network is your net worth. Practice what you preach.
Yep.
Because if you want to grow your net worth, go out there and network.
Yep.
Every time I go to an event, I meet somebody new. And it's either be on purpose, or they're coming to reach out to me. That's the only way you're gonna grow. You can't do anything by yourself. So why not go out there with the intention, okay, I'm gonna at least meet 2 or 3 friends. Like Ebone, the last event that I did, it was like kind of just the whole stigma around like mental health and whatnot.
Yep.
And what Ebone does every time he goes to an event, it's like, hey, network with somebody, at least talk to 2, 3 people,
Yeah.
get their contacts, right? Like me, I got like 3 contacts. Like there was 3 individuals there that wanted to speak to me about starting a business. One girl, her name is Deaf Queen Boss, I think it is. She's an author, she's a life coach, and I would never have met her if I didn't go to that. She's a best-selling author on Amazon, 2 best-selling books on Amazon,
Okay, wow.
and she's in her 20s.
Yeah.
Another girl, she works for the University of Windsor, and then she gave me a life hack I didn't know. If you work for the school, you can actually go to school for free.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
I knew that. I knew that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I knew
But
that.
you don't learn these things unless you go out there and you talk to
You
people.
discuss about it. Yeah, discuss it.
Like
yeah.
you may stumble upon it one day, but why wait till that one day to come when you can go and just, learn something right away from somebody or partner with somebody, and who knows what comes from it.
Yeah, I think that's the key. I think a lot of people, when they see these events, a lot of people are more used to, okay, let's go to a party or let's go have a drink or what it may be. I think people are more geared towards that. But I think the community is slowly coming around. Like you mentioned, if we build an event with a multitude of organizations out there, then it gives a more better, variety. So let's just say you have someone talking about real estate. Let's say you have someone talking about RRSP. Shout out to Priscilla and Sherrard. These are type of things that people may say, you know what, I may go to that event, but hey, I may want to hear what they have to say, or I may want to hear what Dean and Craig have to say, or I may want to hear what so and so has to say. So these things, I think they're out there, but again, like you said, they're in pockets. So when someone puts on an event, and again, it's all about the networking. If someone puts on an event and it's about one thing, a person may say, I don't necessarily want to go because I know about that. However, if you put together, a whole bunch of organizations under one roof, you may find something that you're interested in to go to and have a conversation. And again, you could still mix and mingle. You could still have light music. You still have drinks. But again, your net work is your net worth. I think that's the mindset we have to start pushing, because a lot of people, we're getting older. Let's call a spade a spade. Me going out to clubs and wanting to go out, my mindset's a little bit different. Not to say that I don't want to go out for the rest of my life, but again, I'm getting old. Sometimes it may not benefit me, so I'm just like, hey, and it's winter. So again, nobody wants to really go out in the slush, winter boots, mess up themselves, and so on and so forth. So again, I think it's just all about how people perceive the event to be and how they perceive it, or if they're learning something from it. And again, it's more than one thing. You have more of an influx of people that want to actually go there.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, so I think that's just what it is. And again, guys, I guess it's okay to pocket watch, but again, ask questions. So when we have these events and we have these people in the room, you can ask questions how that person got from A to Z, because I guarantee you it wasn't overnight, right? There was some type of work ethic put in. There was some type of consistency that they were, and there was also some purpose, as your, shirt says, hustle with purpose. They had a purpose, they had a vision, they had a goal in mind. So over a period of time, they eventually got to that goal because they were, number one, consistent, number two, persistent, and they knew who their demographics was, who they're speaking to.
Most definitely.
So again, I may seem a little groggy. I came back from a trip, came back from Dubai a couple days ago, and I must say, beautiful city. Everything is clean. I think I saw one dog, one cat. The whole time I was there, people are like, oh, you don't see any animals. But yeah, nonetheless, I saw a dog, saw a cat. But what kind of, I guess, how can I shed some light on it? I think I wasn't totally prepared. And when I say totally prepared, again, I try to practice what I preach as much as possible, but I am human. So I think I could have budgeted more. And when I say budget, again, they always say either fail to plan or plan to fail, which side of the coin you are on. So going there, what I should have done is I should have researched all the, I guess, the exhibits that were there, and then build a budget around the exhibits based on, I guess, my money. but I didn't really do that. I kind of did things on the spur of the moment, and then I was like, oh damn, I should have kind of prepared myself. So I'm saying that to say this: if you're going on vacation or when you're going on vacation, again, try to budget as much as possible. Try to research where you're going, and maybe kind of jot down some exhibits you want to do, and then stay within that budget. Because I'll tell you one thing, I spent on a few things that were somewhat emotional because I was in the spur moment and I was there and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. But again, if you do that all the time, it's not a good thing, because if you're going here and there and you're not preparing yourself or you're not budgeting, it will burn a hole in your pocket. And when you come back and see your credit card, it's gonna be that sad blue moment. And that leads into even, holiday shopping for those who celebrate Christmas. If you don't put together a budget in which that you're saying, what, I'm gonna buy X amount of gifts and I'm gonna buy for this amount of people, and you're gonna stay within budget, it's gonna burn in your hole in your pocket. Because when you really think about it, when you're buying a gift, who are you trying to really impress? Is it the other party or yourself? And someone had mentioned that to me, and I was like, that's really true. Because when I get something for someone, I'm more excited how they're gonna look on it as opposed to how they're gonna look on it. So sometimes you kind of think to yourself, like, did I do that for myself or did I do that for somebody else? And it's a real, true situation. Like I said, I can't say it anymore. Budget, because you don't want to burn a hole in your pocket. And usually when we buy gifts during the holiday season, January comes. And when January comes, I think it was a Blue Monday, we got Blue Monday. And that turns into a whole different conversation when you're $1,000 or $2,000 out of pocket because you wanted to make other people happy. I'm not saying that you can't make other people happy or making yourself happy at the same time. Just put a budget around it.
Most definitely.
But yeah, it was a good trip. It was a good trip. I enjoyed it, and would I go back there again? I think I would say yes, just because the period of time was short, and when you're going there from Canada, it's like a 14-hour flight. So times that by 2, that's 28 hours that you're traveling. So you lose out on a lot of things because you're traveling, and plus the time difference.
Did they give you robes to wear, or like?
Like robes in what sense?
No, pajamas.
No, you know what it was actually, and big up to Air Canada. It's all you can eat snacks. Like you can eat as soon as you get on the plane until you come off. And the food wasn't decent. Sorry, the food wasn't that bad actually. Again, like I said, snacks, drinks. You can live off of snacks and drinks. You could do that. What I noticed on the flight, there was a lot of families with young kids. Hence a lot of crying. And again, call me a snob, but if your child is under a certain age, please, the crying, the nonstop crying for 7-8 hours, it's crazy. You can't sleep, I had headsets on and it was still blaring through my headset. It's just crazy. Again, I know you gotta travel, but like, please, think of other people, man. It's just annoying to hear a baby crying, and they're not doing nothing. It's just babies crying. They're not hushing them. They're not walking with them. It's just cry after cry after cry. It's just a headache.
We listen and
We don't judge. I'm sorry, I'm judging. I'm sorry, but it's just like I couldn't get a proper sleep. I couldn't. My head was just like, okay, sleep, but couldn't sleep because of the crying. Yeah. But hey, that's how it goes.
Apparently, Air Canada is not gonna check or charge for overhead baggage. So now you can only have like a purse or a backpack. Times are getting tough out here, man.
No, especially, and the reason why they're doing it is because if you choose I think it's called economical seating or some type of discounted fare, they're gonna try to charge you on the back end. And at the end of the day, again, I think I heard someone say it on the news actually today, that they don't make it economical to fly within Canada.
Almost definitely.
And it doesn't make any sense to me. Canada is such a huge place, but they jack up the prices.
We pay so much in taxes. In the States, you want to go state to state, or what is it they call it, interstate or state to state?
Yeah, state to state.
It's like $100, $150, and it's like, what? That's it? Sign me up over there, man.
Yeah, and it's just crazy why it's done that way. But again, Air Canada, do justice for the people. of Canada.
Yeah.
Like I said, Canada is so big, and I've been Vancouver, Calgary, Winnipeg. I've been all over to the West Coast. Haven't yet to go on the East Coast. But what's the incentive? There's none. So Air Canada, we're shouting out to you. You know, make flying in Canada good again, or great again.
When that happens.
Yeah. Again, and this kind of leads into our next segment. And I'm just going to touch on this because I think it's important. I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but the Bank of Canada will be, or possibly will be, cutting rates by 25 basis points. So right now we're currently at a 3.75%. So if they cut it down to if they cut it 25 basis points, we're at, 3.5%. And what that means is Canadians borrow at a cheaper rate. So look out for that. Again, you'll see a difference in credit card payments. Credit card payments, credit lines, everything will drop down. And I'm going to ask Dean this. So is this a good thing or bad thing that interest rates are going down?
Interest rates going down. So in terms of people that have like variable rates, it's better for them. So it's less money that you're paying. It could also be to help the economy. So when they lower interest rates, essentially what they want is more people to borrow, more people to spend money, so that you're stimulating the economy.
Yep.
So, but the on the flip side of that, them lowering it, the way the economy is going right now, they're saying that we're in a recession, but we've been in a recession.
For a minute.
A lot of people don't have the money to spend anyway, so it's like, I'm not borrowing money to go pay you guys more money after that. So there's something that needs to happen where jobs need to work on that. Like right now, Canada Post is on strike, and they've been on strike for almost like 2-3 weeks. I think Brampton Transit was on strike for a bit, from what I remember, from what I seen driving. But Canada Post, especially around the holiday season, that's terrible. Like right now, so if you haven't noticed that you're not getting mail, it's because Canada Post is on strike. I am one of those people that didn't notice. Again, we listen, we don't judge. So I'm wondering, I was like, yo, how come I'm not getting no bills? I was like, yo, this is great. Not realizing, I'm like, oh, it's the strike.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's why I'm not getting my mail. I was like, whatever, man. I was like, yo, when it comes, it comes. Like, I'll take care of them when it comes. But yeah, it's a good thing because if you know how to use money, you can borrow money and then you can go out there and make more money. So let me just put this out there as a disclaimer. So this is just for educational purposes. So anything that you take from this, you're using this at your own risk. We're just telling you, this is just us just having, candid conversations. But I heard, this is a life hack. So this is a life hack I'm telling you. So, but you guys are just listening. Apparently, if you have a credit card with Scotiabank, you can actually go to Scotiabank and ask them to change it to a line of credit. And when you do that, they don't do a credit check on you. They just have to just switch it over for you. So I was like, interesting.
I don't have Scotiabank,
like,
man.
Me and Scotiabank have like this little relationship where, so I can't do those things. But hey, if you try it out, let me know. So I'm telling you,
No,
if
I don't
try it out.
I don't have Scotiabank. So
Well, if you ever get it, so you can literally turn your thing. So if you're paying 22 to 15, whatever % interest on that, switch it to a line of credit, and then you just saved yourself like almost like a good amount of percentage on monthly payments.
And some of you may ask, again, interest rates, going down 0.25 basis points, what that means to a homeowner. Just to give you a little bit more context into what that looks like, according to the Canadian Real Estate Association, the average home price in Canada was $696,166 in October. So with today's rate, if a homeowner put down 10% down payment on a $696,000 house with a 5-year variable rate of 4.85% over 25 years, the monthly mortgage payment would be $3,700. If the bank cuts the interest rate by if the bank cuts the rate by 0.25%, the monthly payment decreases to $3,611. That's a savings of $1,000 a year. Actually, $1,092. What can you do with an extra $1,000? Well, come to us. We can tell you. If the bank cuts the rate by 0.50%, the monthly payment would be $3,500. That's an average savings of $2,100 a year. So again, these are all in context if the bank cuts rates this month. So keep an eye out on that. Keep an eye on Checks Over Strikes page. We'll be also providing some, hidden gems just in case you miss the pod. And again, we'll be posting the pod anyway. So just to give you some food for thought on that. So that's a good thing. So listen out for that. Just thought I would add that in. And as we go into, I guess the holiday season again, I'll use that as a precursor. Living for today and not for tomorrow. And this is a conversation that I've had with some of, my friends with regards to living for now and making purchases for the now and saying, hey, you know what? Let me purchase it now. I'll think about it later. That mindset can be, what's the word I'm looking for? Can be dangerous. Because, again, we all don't know our clocks. We don't know, when it's going to tick, 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 and possibly go boom. And I know everybody wants to do everything within a certain time frame because, oh my gosh, I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. However, think about it this way. If you're constantly having that type of mindset, what money would you have for tomorrow? So when it comes to saving, put away money for investments, whatever it may be, stocks, real estate, where would you be if you're constantly spending money? And again, the mindset is dangerous because you can burn a hole in your pocket. And not to mention, if it's a credit card, you're burning a hole in someone else's pocket, which is, i.e., the bank, which you eventually got to pay back. So again, having that mindset is dangerous. And again, we all don't know, what's going to happen in the next, we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. We don't know what's going to happen in the next 5 minutes. Again, you just have to be thoughtful of it because, especially if you don't have a good relationship with money, it could take you down that rabbit hole, which will be an ongoing issue, month to month, week to week, paycheck to paycheck. So I want my peoples to understand that, hey, we want to live, we want to do all the great things, but again, we got to do this in moderation.
Yep. So Craig, I got 2 questions for you: the check or the strike of the week.
All right.
What's something cheap you're embarrassed that you still do as an adult?
I swear you asked me this last week. Sounds like the same question. Something cheap that I'm embarrassed about?
That you still do as an adult.
Well, I can't say that because they offer free refills. So McDonald's, but again, they offer free refills anyway. So
That's not the true story.
huh?
That's not the true story.
No, it's not free.
That's not what you do.
Oh.
And it's not free.
Yeah.
No, McDonald's, they only give you free when you're in the restaurant, and I think when you're sitting down. So it's
Okay,
not
well,
free.
well, again, to be honest, I get those refills, whether it's free or not. Hey, man, I'm a taxpayer, so hey, man,
right.
if I'm thirsty, that's exactly where I'm going in there to get a quick drink. And sometimes in the summer, that orange Fanta hits home.
Oh my goodness.
Hits home. I'll be honest about that.
I take extra ketchup packets and leave it in my car. So when I run out, I go straight to my car. What's an embarrassing fake rich behavior you copied as a teen?
Fake rich. I think everyone did it. I think the fake jewelry.
I most definitely, no, well, maybe the earrings still, but that's the furthest I went.
I did
Cubic
the fake jewelry for a minute. And again, as a young adult or young junior, I never had it. But again, growing up, I grew up in the era of Cash Money, Juvenile, Lil Baby, Lil Wayne, Nelly. Who else? Who else wore big chains? Nelly, Cash Money. What were the other groups, hip hop wise?
Dipset.
Dipset. Yeah, those are those. When you saw those chains, you're like, yo, if you felt like you didn't have one, and I think there was a place in Sheridan Mall,
Sheridan Mall, Dr. Fleas.
Dr. Fleas. Wow, I just like wanted to feel I wanted to feel a type of way. I have that chain around my neck and, go to school and say, hey man, what's up?
First I went was the diamonds, the cubic zirconians.
You know what? I think people, I have real earrings, but I don't wear them all the time just because what happens is when I'm putting them on, they drop in the damn sink. So I'm over the sink trying to and it drops, and then you've lost an earring. So I'm like, you know what? I may put a stud in there just to keep it moving because I'm like, yo, I've lost too many earrings that I've paid for. Just put a thing in. Again, is anybody gonna really do the test on my ear? And I don't know. And if you're gonna do that, hey, that's up to you. I don't really care. But yeah, you just lose too many earrings like that.
Yeah. For me, it was because I was DJing it. It just used to poke me in the back of my head. So I was like, yeah, I can't do earrings no more.
Yeah.
That's it.
So I think that is something, again, leave your comments, be honest. Dean mentioned those questions. Leave your comments there down below and let us know what you're frivolous about. And last part of this segment, we're going to talk about, and Dean has been mentioning it, we listen and we don't judge. This seems to be a new, I guess,
Phenomenon.
a new phenomenon on TikTok.
It's
things
funny, man.
things are new, but it's so funny because how people do it in relationships, and they tell them the truth, and don't listen, don't judge. But we wanted to kind of bring a twist on it and kind of focus on things that we do from a financial aspect or a financial point of view, And again, listen, don't judge. So I'll be first one to go. And I will definitely say while I was in Dubai, I spent at times emotionally because of the spur of the moment. So again, listen, don't judge. I'm a human being.
We already judged you.
And I like I kind of like to practice what I preach. And I don't always do this. But again, we're just like the people. We're not perfect. We make mistakes.
Yeah.
But again, kind of want to be transparent.
If something comes up for me, I'll let you guys know. But there's nothing right now.
Again, I maybe come up with something else. Like I said, that was one of the things that I felt. And
I really, Black Friday almost got me. I was like, this close. I wanted the metal glasses, and I was just like, yo, how much?
Ray-Bans?
Bro, if you go to Yorkdale and get them to put your prescription in.
Yeah.
So I called this other place, and I said, listen, how much you selling the glasses for? They're selling a bit more, maybe like $30. I said, okay, if you put the lens in, how much? He said, about like 600 or like 600. So I was like, all right, cool. And he's like, oh, do you want it to be made by Ray-Ban and put the little tagline or their logo on there? So I said, how much is that? The man's like, okay, let me calculate. You went from like, call it $600 to $900. Just for Ray-Ban. I was like,
but it already has Ray-Ban on the side. I was like,
no, I'm not paying that. No. So I was this close, but I didn't end up going to the mall to try on the glasses. I was this close. I was like,
but how much are they for real? Like I see they're pushing them hard.
They're about like 4 and change. Well, it all depends which one you get. So the ones I wanted was like about 4 and change. So with the discount they're doing for Black Friday came up to about 3 and change. And then because I'm super blind, so my lens they'd have to put a super thin lens.
Yeah.
So in total it's gonna be about $5. But if on the plan, I don't pay anything, right? But now with this thing, if I got them to do it, I'd be paying like $3-4 in my pocket. And I was like, do I really want to be paying for the little Ray-Ban on there? I was like, nah, I'm not doing it. I was this close, but
that's way too much. And I assume that you have to be connected to your phone.
Yeah. So if you want to do the live streaming stuff, but when I heard some like how it works, so one is for photos, one is for video. But when you're doing video, you can only take like 3 minutes. So when I
Oh,
heard
okay,
that,
okay.
that kind of just made me say, you know what? I would have just bought this just for the sake of buying it. I was like, yeah, I'll just wait. Just get probably just a regular pair of glasses
Yeah,
instead of the
I was
mirrors.
intrigued by it, but then I was like, how would it work?
Well, whenever if you're doing lives or it's like first person mode type
Okay.
thing. That's about it. Or if you're explaining something, you could just be over it.
Yeah.
That's the only part I see that's good about it. But me, the emotions kicked in because it's like, yeah, I like the tech, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I'll be like, yeah, let me get it. And then Stacy asked me, and she's like, what do you want it for? And I was like, I don't know. I just want to wear it so I can make videos, knowing that I'm not going to make the video. So I was like, okay. I almost bought into it, but Cyber Monday didn't catch me this year. So
Yeah, I think I'm not even big on Cyber Monday. It didn't. Again, those things don't really catch me. It's like if I'm in person and I see something, and being in the Dubai Mall, it's like, oh my God, it's like the biggest mall in the world, and there's so many things, and it's like looking here to here, but relatively it's like the same pricing.
Yeah.
So really and truly, do you have to get it? No. However, I did get something. But I didn't. It wasn't like a crazy spent. I spent, but when you're in those environments, it's just crazy.
you should have tried the Rolex trick.
Oh yeah.
Just put it down and leave, walk away, come back, see if it's still there.
Oh, but you know what's so funny? True story. My friend left something in. We went to the Jordan store. He left something in there, and he called back. The store's like, "Yeah, we got it. Come back tomorrow." Like they didn't steal it. One thing about there, again, they have cameras everywhere. So again, if you're gonna try to steal something, they'll catch you. Even on the highways, like you won't really see a lot of police. It's just cameras, cameras, cameras. If you're caught speeding, it just snaps it. And if something happens, the police are waiting for you. So again, don't try no funny stuff in Dubai. You will go to jail. They make it quite clear.
Yeah. So that wraps up another episode of the Checks Over Strikes podcast. If you found value, just click subscribe down below. And any questions or comments, leave it down below. We check it very frequently. And don't forget to follow us on social media or Instagram, Checks Over Strikes. Checks in your name, no strikes against it. See you in the next one.